living in Singapore for the past 1 year, and we want to share you 10 incredible things about Singapore that I'm sure you never knew before. So Michael, take it on from here.
Food here in Singapore is very good, and also very diverse. One of our favorite places to have food is in a hawker center. And what best place, because here in Singapore the hawker centers have Michelin star food. Yes, you heard that right, Michelin star in a freaking hawker center. Anything is possible here in Singapore, and the food is affordable, is good, is high grade, and cleanliness is a top priority here in Singapore. You can also reserve your table or chop it by simply leaving a package of tissue papers or some kind of small item on the table, and this way you know that nobody's gonna sit down and take your table for the future. That being said, let's indulge in some nice wonton noodles, because this is the best place to eat here in Singapore.
Another point on our list is the fact that, as you can see behind me, there's a lot of buildings. Left side, right side, up, down, underground, it's full of buildings. So where's all the greenery? Every building here, you will see that it has a little bit of a greenery that replaces the foundation on which the building is built on. And the greenery, not only that it's on the top of the buildings, but it's also integrated into the whole architecture and into the urbanistic plans of Singapore. So you're not allowed to even cut one tree, because the government already knows where each and every one of the trees is actually. Also a very interesting thing, because the government knows what the trees are, like where they're placed, you're not allowed to do the pruning by yourself or pick up the fruit or the veggies or any kind of a plant from any tree around here. They're very well protected, and I think the fruit are even numbered and accounted for. Pruning is always done by a specified dedicated team, and you're not allowed to alter or to take it home the remains of that tree. Everything is processed and transformed by the authorities here in Singapore. So don't touch any fruit, and make sure to replace it if you want to build a house here in Singapore.
Another point on our list are cars, like this one or that one or that one. A very important thing here in Singapore is that not everybody can own a car, especially because the country is pretty small, so there's not that much space for a car. That means you have to fight for your car, and by fight I mean pay a lot of money. The permit is literally $106,000, so that's a lot of money. And also the car is very expensive, almost 3 times the normal price of a regular car. So if you want to buy a car here in Singapore, and if you want to have the luxury of driving more or less everywhere you want by car, you have to fork up a lot of money, and you have to wait in line and wait for your turn to be able to drive one. Next time you see somebody driving, he either has a ton of money or he's super lucky that he got his car, and that's why a lot of people here use the public transportation. So yeah, definitely a strange one in my book.
A very well-known thing about Singapore is the fact that they have fines everywhere. The police even went that far to implement the robot police. So you're gonna have small machines patrolling around and telling you if you did something or anything wrong. Fines are pretty high too, but if you don't cross the line, no one's gonna fine you right away. So in this case, for example, we have this sign that tells you that motorists are not allowed, and in this side you have a bike that's being parked here. So if you're abiding by the rules, or if it's like just a minor thing happening, it's not as extreme as everybody told you that, oh my goodness, they're gonna fine you right away. People chew gum here inside, and they do snooze, and they do all these other things. Also, I've seen a lot of people who are just like jaywalking and nothing also happened to them. Be careful and mindful about your surroundings, just maybe don't get caught.
Another point on our strange list is the polls or the elections around here in Singapore. As you can see behind me, the people are now voting, and the most interesting fact about the voting here is that they come literally next to your house. They put the booths underneath the building. You just have to get outside the house and go and vote. And voting in Singapore is kind of mandatory, because if you don't go to vote, they ban you from voting, and you need to pay a fine Otherwise, for 2 times, you cannot vote anymore. So yeah, if there's any elections happening or polls happening around you in Singapore, go and vote, because otherwise you lose your voting rights. Very interesting. In my country, if you go to vote, if you don't go to vote, nobody cares.
Another interesting thing is the fact that you have roosters on the streets here in Singapore. Like, it's such a weird wildlife. Hello.
Hey, look, one there. One hand reel. What the heck, it flies! Holy mother of Jesus, Gigi, the chickens are on steroids here in Singapore.
What the heck did just happen? You're gonna find, guess what? Roosters in Singapore on the streets, flying from one house to the other through super expensive cars and super expensive mansions or super expensive scooters. Just roosters flying and walking around with chicks and like with other feathered animals around.
And more chicken, obviously, Gigi.
What's up with this?
And that chicken is
that's
flying in the tree.
in the tree.
And this other chicken,
It's a chicken invasion.
it's flying.
Oh my god.
Holy mother of Gigi, why are chickens flying here in Singapore? I mean, back home in our country, usually chickens are not flying, are sitting in a chicken coop, and if they're flapping their wings, they're just going from place to place, and that's it. I don't know, maybe chickens here are a bit on the special side. I have no idea. You guys tell me, because I'm at this point.
Singaporean chickens.
Gigi, that rooster is on the rooftop. And it's not a wind rooster. What the heck?
I don't know. At this point, it's very funny.
80% of the people here living in Singapore, they live in an HDB just like this or like this. Basically, it's a public housing building with a number on it. This is not a strange thing. The strangest thing is the fact that these critters, they are not allowed inside your house. You heard right. In Singapore, you're not allowed to have a cat in an HDB apartment. Why? No one knows. Maybe it's because they puke hair, or maybe it's because they are cats and they are annoying. I don't know. But because of that, they are on the streets and they are roaming free around here, and people are feeding them, are giving them shelters, but they're not taking them inside the house because it's illegal to own a cat in an HDB. A dog, on the other hand, it's a much complicated story. You have a list of pre-approved dogs that you can own in this country, and if it's not on the list, then forget about it. Probably if you have a private property, then more or less you can own a dog if it's not on the list. But otherwise, it's a bit more complicated, even in an HDB, even in a condo. And if you're thinking about a different kind of animal, like a lizard or a rodent or a snake or something else, forget about it. Highly illegal, and you can go to jail probably for owning them and for bringing them inside the country. So, no lizards, no sugar gliders, no gerbils, no other strange pets in Singapore. Very interesting.
Singapore is one of the most modern countries in the world, and as a proof of that, you can pay for almost every kind of service with a different kind of method. So you have QR codes, you have PayLah, you have PayNow, you have bank transfers, you have a lot of other online kind of payment options available for any kind of service you can imagine. From hawker centers, food, shoes, even buskers and street performers, everybody has a QR code. So you just swipe your phone, scan the QR code, and pay for it. It's super, super easy. Even the oldest aunties and uncles of Singapore, they're gonna use their mobile phones to pay with a QR code for their Hainanese chicken rice at the hawker center. A very interesting thing in Singapore here is about renting. But if you want to watch the whole topic, how we talk about it and how we managed with it, you can watch our video somewhere here. But except from that, the main thing that you should remember about Singapore and renting, apart from the fact that it's super expensive, you have to go through a pretty lengthy process. You have to sign a letter of intent before you actually rent a property. And that letter of intent, you have to upload and send the owner the money already and sign the contract before you even receive the tenancy agreement in order to prove that you're living there. So you have to give money before actually going and living inside of that place And that's a lot of money, so that's a very unique thing for Singapore. Some of the people are okay with it. There's been a lot of scams also with it, so a unique thing in Singapore. And finally, the last point on our list,
The mother load.
no natural disasters.
Yes, no tsunamis, no earthquakes, no typhoons, no tornadoes, no nothing. Everything is pretty much safe here, even no pickpocketing, which is kinda odd, but then again, it's Singapore, so yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting, and a lot of Singaporeans take a good pride in this. That's why they're building so many high skyscraper buildings
Yes.
nearby, old buildings. You have even underground a huge massive network of infrastructure.
Yes, trains, planes, everything, above ground, underground. The people here, they are building like crazy, and it's a bustling city of life and greenness and everything. So that being said, we've been living here in Singapore, and these are the strangest things that we noticed so far. If you have any more other questions, or if you have any more other suggestions, the comment section is down below. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and
Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.
bye bye.